In a significant legal decision, a federal judge has halted President Donald Trump's efforts to reform U.S. elections. The ruling sided with a group of Democratic state attorneys general who argued that the president's executive order was unconstitutional. The executive order, issued on March 25, aimed to enforce new voting regulations. These included requiring documentary proof of citizenship for voter registration in federal elections, accepting only mailed ballots received by Election Day, and conditioning federal election grant funding on states meeting the new ballot deadline. The attorneys general contended that the directive overstepped the constitutional powers of the states and sought to change election law unilaterally. The White House defended the order as a measure to ensure free, fair, and honest elections, describing proof of citizenship as a common-sense requirement. Judge Denise J. Casper of the U.S. District Court in Massachusetts ruled in favor of the states, stating that they were likely to succeed in their legal challenges. She emphasized that the Constitution does not grant the president specific powers over elections. Judge Casper also highlighted that U.S. citizenship is a requirement to vote in federal elections, and that federal voter registration forms already require an attestation of citizenship. She cited the state's arguments that implementing these requirements would impose significant efforts and costs on them. The White House and the Department of Justice did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Meanwhile, the Attorneys General of California and New York applauded the ruling, calling Trump's order unconstitutional. New York Attorney General Letitia James stated, "Free and fair elections are the foundation of this nation, and no president has the power to steal that right from the American people." This ruling marks the second legal setback for Trump's election order. A previous decision by a federal judge in Washington, D.C., had already blocked parts of the directive, including the proof of citizenship requirement for federal voter registration forms. Trump's order was part of his ongoing complaints about election integrity. After his 2016 victory, Trump falsely claimed that his popular vote total would have been higher if not for millions of people who voted illegally. Since losing to Democrat Joe Biden in 2020, Trump has repeatedly made unfounded claims of widespread voter fraud and manipulation of voting machines. The executive order aimed to secure elections against illegal voting by non-citizens, although multiple studies and state investigations have shown such instances are rare and often accidental. Voting as a non-citizen is already illegal and can lead to fines and deportation if convicted. The judge's ruling also blocked the part of the order requiring states to exclude mail-in or absentee ballots received after Election Day. Currently, 18 states and Puerto Rico accept mailed ballots received after Election Day if they are postmarked on or before that date. Oregon and Washington, which primarily conduct elections by mail, filed a separate lawsuit challenging the ballot deadline, arguing it could disenfranchise voters. Washington Secretary of State Steve Hobbs noted that more than 300,000 ballots in his state arrived after Election Day in 2024. While Trump's order received support from some Republican state election officials who believed it could reduce voter fraud, many legal experts argued it exceeded presidential authority. The Constitution grants states the power to set election times, places, and manner, with Congress allowed to establish rules for federal office elections. The Constitution does not provide presidents with authority to set election rules. During a recent hearing on the state's request for a preliminary injunction, lawyers debated the implications of Trump's order, its feasibility before next year's midterm elections, and potential costs to states. Justice Department lawyer Bridget O'Hickey argued that the order sought to standardize certain election operations rather than rely on varying state laws. She suggested that harm to states was speculative. O'Hickey also raised concerns about potential manipulation of mailed ballots received after Election Day. However, all such ballots require a postmark indicating they were sent on or before Election Day. Any ballot postmarked after would not be counted.